You made it. You officially made it. Phase 3 allows you to quit your job and chase your mobile home park dream indefinitely. Time freedom, financial freedom, and general autonomy can describe your everyday life. You escaped. You did it. For most, this is the dream. You've broken the shackles of corporate America. You do what you want when you want. You answer to no one but yourself. And if you so choose, you never have to look back. But we humans are a curious species. Psychology will fascinate me until the day I die. You see, normalization eventually creeps in. What once dominated your dreams now describes your everyday life. When dreams become normal, those realities turn mundane. If you can believe it, yes, all of those lovely benefits you dream of can morph into expectations. And expectations, when unmet, cause pain. Your brain tricks you into thinking you need, you want, you must strive for more. Plateauing here can end up leaving you in a very dark place. Now, let's cover phase 3 in depth so you can make your dream a reality and not an impending nightmare.
Mobile home parks need good would-be entrepreneurs to get off the sidelines and into the game. My name is Ryan Neris. I started with nothing. No money, no network, and no experience. Over my first decade in the business, I've acquired over 80 mobile home parks spanning 4,500 lots and counting. No matter what level you're at, I can help you get started, scale, and get your business to the next level.
I'm Mike Panzolini. In my 10 years working in private equity, I've managed over 250 mobile home parks. I've spent my entire career in real estate, both personally and professionally, building complex systems and processes and leveraging data and technology to create automations in both acquisitions and operations. I can teach you the methods that the big shops use to professionalize your business.
Together, we will equip you with all the tools, wisdom, and skills that I needed to create and scale a larger business from humble beginnings.
And I'll give you that big private equity shop edge to push your business to the next level, bringing institutional tools to the individual investor. We are the 30-day mobile home park.
Chapter 1, Definition. Let's define phase 3. One departs from phase 2 upon achieving critical mass. Again, we define critical mass as having enough income to support you as a full-time mobile home park entrepreneur indefinitely. You can usually hit critical mass around 150 lots, depending on several factors like NOI, your capital stack, your investor structure, etc. One leaves phase 3 once the workload necessitates hiring a proper staff. While the exact line separating phase 3 and phase 4 gets really fuzzy depending on many factors, I would say you can draw the line in the sand around 500 units. Once you reach about 500 units, you really need help. You begin to not be able to do everything yourself. Or you already have a staff, but they no longer have the capacity to handle everything at their current size and grow. The more stable your portfolio, the more chill phase 3 will feel. And this really can serve as your part-time full-time job that allows you to prioritize your lifestyle, if that makes sense. You depart this phase once you realize that ceases to be the case due to the volume of work for scaling. Chapter 2, the pros. First and foremost, time freedom. Oh my goodness, the time freedom. I watched my wife give birth to both of our children, one at 3:45 p.m. in the afternoon and the other at 1:15 a.m. in the middle of the night. I took ample time off. I had people, systems, processes, etc. in place so I could focus 100% on my family. I can talk for hours about the benefits of time freedom, as I am sure you can imagine them. But family, to me, dominates the rest of the advantages that time freedom provides. I can't stress this enough. Time freedom changed my life for the better, and I could never go back. A real 401k type retirement plan. Imagine this. You work hard at a job for 20 years, and on your last day, your boss congratulates you on your departure and a career well worked and gives you a bonus of $1 million. You might laugh at this, but this can and does happen within mobile home parks, unlike corporate America. You buy a property, you let the rent pay the mortgage for decades, then sell one day for a 7-figure sum. This can effectively serve as your retirement plan. I have bought many a mobile home park from smart mom and pops who did exactly this. They worked on and literally in their retirement plan, paid themselves from it, for crying out loud. And then they rode off into the sunset with a significant nest egg for their golden years. Having something that's yours. Unlike the stock market, this asset will really feel like your own. You can show up, swing a hammer, talk to residents, spend money improving it. I can't downplay the satisfaction in showing up to a place that you own, especially when you improve it. If you cold call, you know that mom and pops take a lot of pride in their assets. They tell you with pride stories of improvements, struggles, and triumphs. You can and should too. This can truly feel amazing. Autonomy. Calling your own shots feels incredible. I personally cannot work for someone else. No joke. I can't work for other people. I might sound kind and giving and pleasant, but I really struggle when I hear someone ordering me around. For me, I have to own my own company. For most, this is a luxury that might fade in time. For me, I have to do this. I must persist or I will literally implode. Regardless, you should fight for autonomy. Ability to work hard or not, if you want. Overachievers typically listen to this podcast. You likely achieve more than most. As a result, you have likely worked your way into a very demanding job. This job likely wouldn't take kindly to you just taking your foot off the gas pedal because you felt like it. Sometimes life demands you take your foot off that gas pedal. For example, the birth of a child. Achieving the ability to work hard or not will dramatically and drastically improve your mental health. You can afford to be disorganized and not as sharp as an operator, as not as many people are counting on you, like investors, employees, etc. More on this later, but smallness in size hides mistakes in improper systems. You can brute force things you otherwise couldn't. One can afford to be sloppy, or to move too fast, or to lack proper bureaucracy. Investors can demand a lot from you, from reporting to your availability to answer their questions, to reasons for why you missed financial targets. Riding solo, or at least small, can really alleviate a lot of potential stress. Financial freedom, in the regard that you have enough money to not worry about the necessities of life, if you can make a middle class lifestyle work. For most of us, phase 3 achieves a perpetual middle class lifestyle. If you can not allow lifestyle creep to derail your progress and you remain a solid, disciplined money manager, then realistically, phase 3 can retire you. You're done. And for real this time. You have all the money you need, barring any calamity. Additional earnings face a diminishing return. That extra dollar you just made doesn't make your life any materially better. I can't stress this enough. Once you have enough money to not have to worry about money, you can then focus on other deficient areas of your life. For me, I chose to gas up my business at the expense of my family, friends, and health. Now I can work on being a father, a husband, a friend, and a healthy individual. That initial imbalance in my life could then be fixed. Corporate America demands so much time that one must sacrifice mental health, or friends, or family, or hobbies, or health, or all the above. Entrepreneurship, specifically phase 3, gives you the opportunity to craft a well-balanced and happy life. This is why most people chase after mobile home parks. And let me tell you, it is worth the pain, the risk, the sacrifice, and time to achieve it. Chapter 3, The Cons. Oh, wouldn't it be so easy if we could all just have enough and be done? Turns out, our human design doesn't allow this for us ever to remain in this perpetual state of satisfaction. We eventually become bored, and our ambition pushes us for more. But worse things begin to creep in. Lack of meaning and purpose. If you chased mobile home parks for the benefits, well, those benefits eventually become normalized, boring, and mundane. You take them for granted. In time, the drawbacks of the job start compounding. The money, autonomy, and freedom do not fulfill you. You need to fight for an important cause. This is how you are designed as a human being. Your heart must yearn for mobile home parks, else it will find something in its place. Otherwise, you'll just get bored and you will search for that meaning and purpose somewhere else. Unexpected CapEx can delete income. If your freedom income sits at, say, $100,000 a year, but then you unexpectedly need to replace a septic tank for $15,000, then you better be earning at least $115,000 annually. Otherwise, you won't have enough money for expenses. Unexpected CapEx sours every real estate investor of any asset class. You realistically must aim above your freedom income in order to have enough buffer to stomach a rainy day. Feeling stuck. Now, let's say you lack meaning and purpose, and you face that unexpected CapEx. You start to fall into a really dark place. You lack the income to save up to buy more mobile home parks on your own. You lack the meaning and purpose to fuel you through those tough times. You absolutely do not want to go back to corporate America. But what do you do now that you don't have the desire to grow, but you can't stay put? So let me repeat this. If you can't grow and you can't go back to a corporate job, then you are stuck. I felt this way several times in my corporate career. This can take you to a very dark place. Imagine making a major lifestyle change to pursue mobile home parks, only to get stuck in a dark trap a couple years later with no real exit plan. Complacency. Whether in a dark place or not, if you don't focus on growth and improvement, complacency will enter. You can see this with a lot of mom and pops. They begin developing interests that distract them from improving their assets, or they simply get stuck in their ways, even if those ways conflict with the appropriate changes needed to improve their business. You can see exactly that with a lack of desire to do things like digitize records or bring technology to residents and so on. But this can happen to anyone, not just mom and pops. We want things to be easy and predictable, so we will always resist change. Even if you wish to chill in phase 3, you need to be careful of complacency. You are usually stuck in a middle or upper middle class lifestyle with a ceiling of lower upper class. Look, if you limit yourself to phase 3, you may never taste the good life. I personally don't care about luxury, so this doesn't really bother me, but I know way too many people who need to drive that BMW or go to fancy dinners routinely or take multiple magical vacations. We live in a materialistic world. Phase 3 most likely won't deliver you the kind of income that you will need to live like a baller. If you want to hit that next level, you must grow your business. Shocker, you never feel like you have enough, and this feeling grows with time. You know how I just mentioned that I don't need fancy things? Would it surprise you to hear that I even run into this don't have enough trap? Would it surprise you to hear that I still feel that way sometimes? I have a close friend worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I asked him to his face if he felt he had made it, or said differently, if he had enough to feel safe and comfortable. Y'all, I barely finished the question and he confidently declared no. Yes, even if you live a rather Spartan lifestyle, even if you don't live frugally, but have millions of dollars, you may still truly never feel like you have enough. And in that moment, you have two choices. You either get over it or you go get more. And in either case, you'll have some work to do. Before moving on to the next chapter, I feel compelled to say that these all revolve around you developing complacency for mobile home parks with time. The big risk here is allowing that to seep into your life. As long as you can find meaning and purpose in something else, or even just meaning and purpose in your small little portfolio, you can live in phase 3 indefinitely. It all comes down to looking at those cons and mapping out a plan for overcoming them when the inevitable dark times come to fruition. Chapter 4, Escaping Phase 3. work, sacrifice, risk. Sound familiar? If you haven't already, you'll eventually notice a pattern with these phases. To escape them, beyond just more mobile home parks, you'll need work, sacrifice, risk. You'll need to build skills, improve your network, solve complex problems, and fight to get to that next level. Making the jump to phase 4 becomes a job because phase 4, in part, is a job. Phase 4 is where your business now requires professionalism, as in, you no longer have a choice. More on that later. It shouldn't surprise you that jumping from phase 4 to phase 5 also requires a ton of work. Are you catching me now? So what specifically do you need? Beyond the obvious, more mobile home parks. You'll need to improve your reporting, organization, human capital. This requires both planning and execution. You need better accounting, better systems, better SOPs, employees, and lots of money. Unless you already have wealth, you need to start raising money. Heck, even if you have wealth, you likely need to start raising money if you haven't already. Should you hire now and at a loss and lean into your growth? Or should you overwork yourself and only hire when you absolutely need to and have the cash? This question, and more, you need to think about and have a plan for. You'll have to work on your business while you work in your business, since you can't afford an entire staff. Simply put, to escape phase 3, you just need to grow, and in many more ways than just have a bigger portfolio. You will need to grow your skills and professionalism. Conclusion. I wish more people stopped in phase 3. Or I wish people would learn to be okay with stopping in phase 3. I doubt that could ever happen. However, at least not in perpetuity. We humans want novelty and growth and excitement, and we succumb to taking things for granted far more than any of us would like to admit. We crave meaning and purpose. We must feel important in what we do with our lives. I'm sorry, but having money and just goofing off will wear off very quickly, leaving you empty and potentially in an even darker place than before you got here. But you don't have to suffer that same fate. Plan now for what comes when you hit those plateaus. Plan on finding meaning and purpose elsewhere if that's you. If growing a big company in mobile home parks isn't for you, because it's not for everyone. Everyone has a ceiling that they'll eventually hit. Finding your sweet spot will deliver that happiness you crave, even if that involves hobbies, interests, things outside of mobile home parks. But staying in that sweet spot, be it phase 3 or beyond, will require you to address other psychological needs of yours, whilst not allowing complacency to derail what you've built. Don't fall victim to the pitfalls of stage 3. Don't fall victim to the pitfalls of phase 3. Either have a plan to enjoy these benefits, or have a plan to blow right on through to phase 4 and possibly beyond.
Entrepreneurs make mistakes, but with the overwhelming amount of free information out there, you don't have to be doomed to make those same mistakes. You just have to find a consolidated version of the most important information. What if I told you that Ryan and I will gift you all of the due diligence mistakes that he and I have made over the years for free? What if I also told you that Ryan and I will hop on a 30-minute coaching call to walk through any questions you might have, give you advice, and even do a free live deal review to get you started on your first or next mobile home park acquisition? Just leave us a 5-star review, screenshot the review after it goes live, and click the link in the show notes to fill out the form and send it to us. Afterwards, join our Facebook group, Mobile Home Park Masterminds, where you'll find hundreds of other mobile home park owners sharing ideas, contractors, and deals. It's free to join, and we would absolutely love seeing you in there. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you soon.